Well, I nailed a move and it just came right down and chopped me off at the nuts.
But right now the Dow futures are up near their highs, about 137 points above fair value. S&P futures up by close to 22. The Nasdaq indicated up by about 75. And if you've been watching Treasuries, you will see that the 10-year is sitting at 406. The 2-year is at 349.
All right, ADP out with November private payroll data. We're going to get it from Steve Leitsman, but we have the person right here. This is like one of those middlemen in healthcare.
Well,
Hey,
like
Steve.
I do so many days, I start out in the hole.
Yeah, a big miss on the ADP payrolls. The private payroll company saying private payroll shed 32,000 workers in November. That's the fourth negative number in the past 6 months for this series. Take a look here. The estimate was for 40,000, so the street was off on this one. And how did you get there? Well, goods producing shed 19,000 workers, service producing shedding 13,000 workers. But the big story here, and I'll show you more detail on this, is what's happening with small business, down 120,000. Medium and large business doing okay, up 51 and 39,000 respectively. But take a look at this chart here. Virtually all of the job losses have come from small business, which has been negative in 6 of 7 months since April. Without those losses, ADP numbers would actually be positive, but you can't get rid of it. You can't exclude small business. And then you look at it by sector. Well,
Okay,
we
kill
see
the
those two
trail.
sectors do it. Education, health service, food, and hospitality leading the way, with manufacturing down, information down,
Triple this and try to go for a real quick
26,000.
hit.
Also, another sign of weakness in the job market. Job stayers, their wages
I
up
could go right back
4.4,
up
that's
there.
down a tenth from the prior month. And job changers, that was a big number.
What the hell?
or
Oh,
headcount. That's down
every time you do that, it puts in a 1.
3%. So, Joe, at least according to ADP, additional weakness in the job market, and small business getting hammered. And there is some information that some of this may be coming from being hammered by the tariffs.
Yeah, trying to figure out. I'm watching, all the.
Don't let it get you.
I saw Bitcoin above 93. No, it didn't.
Probably gonna come up, but let it.
I don't think people know whether if we already had a cut in the cards, then we don't need any.
Okay. Minus 85.
We might need it for the next. The next ones are less sure now, so maybe it would help with those, or maybe it's just downright bad and not.
Oh,
I don't know if people know what to do. Let's see what we are. Okay, sure. There's now.
can give it room.
ADP chief economist, and you're not here to tell us what the stock market should do based on these numbers. You just tell us that things have worsened in the last month.
Yeah, this is a small firm story. This is even more than a small firm
You
story.
bastard.
This is a mom and pop story.
What's
Because
that?
if you look at
310
where the
in the
losses
hole.
came in for firms with headcount under 50, and you take that and you extrapolate it to the industries, those are the same industries. Construction, for example, where there are a lot of small firms. And so when you think about what small firms are dealing with, you put your mind into the
Don't let it come flying up and kill you.
space of a small firm owner. They're not going to raise their hand and say, we're cutting by 10%. They're just not going to replace that retired worker. They are just going to let attrition take care of this issue for them. They are going to have a hiring freeze. They may not hire a teenager or two in the bakery over the holiday season. They're going to make these small changes that add up to a lot.
Break even.
44% of U.S. workers work in these mom and pop shops.
Oh, man, you had a chance to get out even.
What's the problem?
You bastard, you bastard. You had a chance.
It's just consumer demand and your traffic and make the story.
Is
But
that
if you're a
200
small
and all?
firm owner today, you have to think about
You had a chance. Yeah, you're 200 and all.
that will kind of pave the way for tariffs. You're going to have to think about all of these things.
God, you should have jumped it.
Traffic. And so what that means is that you may delay your decision making when it comes to hiring.
You already got 18
You don't
trades.
pass along those price increases to the consumer. And there's no evidence that
You're just
we're
guessing.
seeing small firms do that in lockstep. What they're doing is they're absorbing it, they're taking a profit hit, and they may be delaying or curtailing hiring.
So how can bigger companies, they just have lawyers or something? How does it work?
They have more options. They can change suppliers. The fixed costs for firms, small firms, are variable costs for large firms. They can invest broadly. They can be price dictators when it comes to their suppliers. And you have to also understand where we are in terms of the inflation story. It's not just inflation growth. It is the cumulative effect of 24% increases in price levels in the last 5 years. So even modest inflation from here is on top of really high price increases over the last
The
several
the
years.
affordability crisis wasn't helped by the 3% inflation that we got over the last year. But the 21.5% prior to that, it accounts for a lot of it. This is just like layering on another food.
Economists are happy
All
with
right,
smaller
you're in the money for the
inflation,
day.
lower inflation
Right,
rates,
but
slower,
prices are
but
still up.
the price levels are still there.
25%.
Right, that's right. And so you add in all the effects and you think about what a small firm can change, they can change their hiring patterns, and that's what we're seeing.
Flatten it. Something's going wrong.
Is this the beginning of a
Something went
series
wrong
of
there.
numbers like this,
All right, you're up
or is it
230, I
a
think.
number?
Let's leave this alone.
If we knew that.
Yeah, let's just
And
stop
I can
right
see
here.
those prediction markets that were in my last
We're
one.
gonna come back a few minutes later. This is definitely not a place to play the game. It's a good move up from either one of these. Most likely it's gonna move down, so short in here might be bad or good, but short in there, no. Well, I just turned this back on and saw this one here and said, boy, it's a good time to short. I didn't, but it would have been a beauty.
We may never get October numbers, and of course, we know that we haven't seen any of these releases in a couple of months. On the price index for the imports,
8:30 is a minute past.
0.0, so unchanged. We're expecting up a bit, up 0.1% was expected. In the rearview mirror, up
Yeah, let's just wait for 9:30.
0 would correlate to, well, the smallest
Let's
number
just
since
wait.
it was negative in June when it was -0.2. Now, if you strip out petroleum, we see prices move up a bit, up 0.2, a little
I
more
got
than
way too many
expected.
trades. I just went wild.
And now let's go to the year-over-year import prices, up 0.3, cooler than expected, but
Should jump that.
better than
That would have
our
been
change
good for
last month, up 0.3.
$600-700 bucks.
Going back to March when it was up 0.8. We've seen a lot of big
Just
negative
relax.
numbers on
You're
this series,
nerved
so
up a little,
evening
so
up
just
going
relax.
on here. Switch gears, export.
Go play with the cute animals a little bit.
3.8. That is up 0.4 from our last look at 3.4. Revisions coming
Up
in.
here.
3.4 turns into 3.2. 3.8 will be the warmest. We have to go way back on this. 3.8 will be the warmest since east of 22. But do remember, even the 3.2 in the rearview mirror would go back to east of 22 because the biggest number that we've had since then was up 2.7, and that was back in June of this year. So this series of export prices is really on the upswing a bit, and that makes a bit of sense because you consider that the import prices do not include tariffs. Many are trying, of course, to see how that shapes up by spending more on the export side. We saw ADP negative number worse since 23, I believe it was March of 23, and Steve did point out the recent spat of negative numbers. Listen, ADP is never anyone's first choice, and they've really stepped up to the plate. In terms of the accuracy of this, I'm not sure, but I think the overriding sentiment of less from small business and some layoffs and firing coming from that area and less hiring does make sense from an anecdotal standpoint. We continue to see that the rate cut in December, not that far away, is basically fully priced in the futures markets, and this number today and of course the ADP number earlier are going to go a long way to cement that near 100% probability of the rate cut. And we've seen some recent steepening of the yield curve, Becky, 2s to 10s, and my guess is that is becoming more the trade du jour of an easing Fed at a time where long rates globally are sticky. Back to you.
Okay, Rick, thank you very much. Steve Leisman joins us right now with more on that. Steve, between this and what you heard from ADP, your take on the overall economy?
Well, just real quickly, what we're looking for in the import prices is this notion that if import prices are falling or negative, they're offsetting the tariffs. We don't see that, and we haven't seen that. So it looks like when you take out fuel, import prices are up just a little bit. So it does not appear as if importers are getting discounts from the exporters or the companies overseas that are selling us the goods. So therefore, it seems like, again, this is a domestic issue. This data would suggest that this is U.S. companies, U.S. consumers paying these tariffs unless they were offset, but we're not seeing that offset. I think that's an issue. Becky, I continue to be among those who are more concerned about the impact of tariffs on the economy. I know that the numbers, when it comes to the inflation data, have been relatively muted. We haven't had a lot of it. It is elevated, but not as elevated as people expected. But I think the effect on business is what we're seeing here, and I think that's part of what's been dragging down the economy. Now, maybe we get used to it and we get to this great place down the road where we have indeed brought in manufacturing from overseas, but there's this transition period if that's going to happen. And in that transition period, there's a negative time, and this seems to be that to me. Rick is right. ADP is not 100%. It may not even be 50%, but I don't think we have a booming job market with ADP numbers like this and as downbeat as they've been. And what you're seeing is a pretty strong, confident bid right now on the Fed cutting rates, but not much more down the pike. It looks like 3% is where the market, even with a potentially very dovish Fed chair coming in, is where the market's settled out, down 3%.
Okay. Steve, thank you.
Wow. What do you call a Congresswoman, Elise Stefanik? If you look it up, Representative, I should just avoid that completely, because a lot of female members of Congress want to be congressmen because that's the convention in writing. Others want to be congresswoman, and then others just say, how about representative? Do you have a preference now that you're on, and we'll use it from here on out? Good to see you, by the way.
Congresswoman, but I'll tell you, my constituents know me as Elise, and I'm proud to represent
I
them. But
can't do that.
Congresswoman Stefanik.
All right, we'll do Congresswoman then. And you're on for a couple of things today, but it's a lot. I'm looking through it, Congresswoman, and there's a lot of palace intrigue here. You are signing on to a discharge position that would force a vote on banning congressional stock trading, and separately, you told Punchbowl that you're prepared to potentially bring down a must-pass annual Pentagon policy bill. But this all seems to be, perhaps, and you can dispute that, related to an ongoing, I don't know, sort of a family feud with Speaker Johnson.
No, this is about putting America first and delivering results. And the issue, which we had a great breakthrough last night, which will be included in the defense bill, it passed out of the Intelligence Committee, and this goes to congressional notification. If there's any counterintelligence investigation opened against a presidential or federal candidate, that Congress must be notified. It goes back to 2017 when former FBI Director James Comey, in an open hearing, testified and said that he did not follow proper protocol. This passed on a bipartisan basis out of the House Intelligence Committee, and it was included in the bill as it's worked through this process. It was stripped out by Jamie Raskin, despite overwhelming bipartisan support. We had a great breakthrough last night. It will be included in this bill, and it's an important step towards good governance. On the stock ban, this is an issue that I have long been concerned about. When I came to Congress over 11 years ago, I made the decision that I believe it's unethical to buy, trade, or sell stocks. And this has been a growing issue bubbling up when you have people like former Speaker Nancy Pelosi literally making hundreds of millions of dollars, performing better than the best traders on Wall Street. That is inexcusable. And for whatever reason or another, this has not been made a priority by leaders of both parties, frankly. So members have a bipartisan coalition and are delivering this by signing the discharge petition to provide good governance. It's good policy. Over 80% of the American people support this position, and it's very important that we're focused on legislating and not seeing, again, some of these unbelievable trades from members of Congress from both parties.
Yeah, been discussing it on this show for a long time. I guess the scuttlebutt was that since Speaker Johnson wasn't involved, leadership wasn't involved in this, and this was Representative Luna's discharge position, and because it bypassed Speaker Johnson, that was, in addition to that defense authorization, you mentioned Jamie Raskin. I guess the Speaker pushed back and said you needed the four corners of the judiciary to to sign on, and they hadn't, and he wants to do
Oh,
it.
they have. Jim Jordan supports
Now
this
it's done.
provision.
So
Of
now
course, it's done.
okay.
It's done. It's included. It's good governance. This is going to be an important win. And just going back on the stock trading, this isn't something that I would say the leadership is opposed. This is an issue. The time is right. And frankly, this should have been done a long time ago. And members are frustrated of both parties. So this is not about pointing blame to one particular leader or
Speaker
another.
Johnson said, why not just call him? And is there any animus that relates back to
No,
needing your vote?
he and I had very successful discussions last night. It's a provision that he supports. Jim Jordan, the four corners, other than Jamie Raskin, they supported the provision, and first of all, it's good policy. It passed unanimously out of the House Intelligence Committee, Joe. That's important. We should be closing the loophole that was abused illegally by James Comey, and it was a continuation issue, as you've seen the breaking news related to Arctic frost, where members of Congress were, frankly, investigated, counterintelligence investigations into multiple senators, multiple House members, and yet the FBI still did not follow proper protocol. This strengthens that, and it applies to every federal candidate. So it's good policy. It was bipartisan out of committee. We should not allow Jamie Raskin to veto this when the vast majority support it. I'm glad we had a breakthrough last night. It's positive. It will be in the bill. It's a very important result on pushing back on the illegal weaponization issue.
Let's talk about the run for governor. It's a blue state. It's been tough for Republicans in blue states recently, and I see great things in happening for you in polls with independents and Republicans. But I just don't know if is that enough in your view, given that New York typically, I mean, it's not like New York City, but it is difficult. It's an uphill battle.
Well, first of all, no state has moved more to the Republican direction over the past few cycles than New York State. Look at the presidential state. Literally in 2024, New York moved more to the right than any other state in the nation. We saw Lee Zeldin in 2022 run an exceptional governor's campaign, come within 6 points against Kathy Hochul, who at that time was an accidental governor. She was only in that position because Andrew Cuomo stepped down. You now have a socialist who won the mayor's race, but barely broke 50%, Joe. Traditionally, when you're the Democrat nominee, which he was, you get in the high 60% or low 70s. The fact that nearly a majority of New Yorkers oppose his positions, which that includes a fair number of traditional Democrats, it's a real opportunity. And the reality is, Kathy Hochul has failed. It's 2 decades of single-party Democrat rule in New York, and New York is the most expensive state in the nation. Highest taxes, highest energy costs, highest health care costs, highest child care costs. So that is an issue that breaks across party lines. People are frustrated. And what have we seen? We've seen Kathy Hochul, who is bending the knee to Mamdani. Congresswoman, from what you're saying, should we surmise that you plan on running as a moderate Republican? I mean, if you're looking to appeal to New York Democrats as well. Well, first of all, I've always delivered a coalition of voters, of Republicans, independents, and about 25% of registered Democrats in my district. You forget, I flipped a district when I first ran for office, and we've put up some of the largest margins, not just in New York State, but in the entire Northeast. And this coalition, I will tell you, traditional Democrats who supported Kathy Hochul in the past are no longer supporting her. Some of her biggest bundlers are now our supporters. Some of her biggest coalition of voters are moving to us every single day, and it's because they are frustrated with her failed leadership that has led to New York being unaffordable for hardworking New York families.
We're dealing with a little bit of a background noise there. You're not in a dentist's
Not
office.
sure what that is. There's construction going on.
Someone's got a big old cavity or something, but I think they almost got it at this point. Congressman, they're going to say, I mean, I can hear it now. They're going to say, as demagoguing, that you voted to cut Medicaid because you voted for the big beautiful bill, even though Medicaid goes up every year under the big beautiful bill. It's just the rate of increase that was dealt with.
What I voted for was to strengthen Medicaid, and it's important, and New Yorkers know this. Kathy Hochul is spending tens of billions of dollars of Medicaid for illegals. We want to strengthen Medicaid. It's an important program to make sure it is for law-abiding New Yorkers who are legally here. This should not be a multi-billion-dollar sanctuary state policy that law-abiding New Yorkers are frankly paying for. So I will continue to advocate for better health care, more affordable health care, and more accessible health care, which is an issue facing every family across the state.
Well, you worked right through the drill, and if you can do, I guess if you're in Congress and with the din in the background of what goes on there, you can deliver a speech. You can deliver it anywhere, probably, Congresswoman. But we hope to see you again and update us on all these. There's no, you and Johnson are like this. You're like you do breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. I mean, you're tight.
It's a good win. What I want to focus on is delivering wins for the American people. It was worked out last night. It will be included in the bill. It's a good win, and it's a bipartisan victory, except for one Democrat who opposed it. We have to be in the business of delivering these bipartisan results, which we have been.
Okay. Congresswoman, thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Okay, see you later.
All right, some breaking news on Delta Airlines. Phil LeBeau joins us with that. Hi, Phil.
Hey, Becky, take a look at shares of Delta, the company putting out an 8K just a few minutes ago, now detailing how much the government shutdown and the flight cancellations cost the airline. $200 million works out to a 25 cents per share hit for the fourth quarter. Again, Delta saying that the government shutdown cancellations cost the airline about $200 million. Guys, I'll send it back to you.
Okay, there we go. Squawk will be right back. Thank you, Phil.
Give us the facts. Let us decide for ourselves.
I want you to be transparent, I guess, is firstly what I want.
We got clear facts. Maybe we can calm down a little.
Buy the dip with CNBC Pro's Best Deal of the Year. Market-moving news and interviews across 3 global live streams. Subscriber-only content from Wall Street pros like Josh Brown.
If you love the stock market as much as I do, you're going to love the best stocks in the market list.
Plus exclusive live events.
This is my first time at the stock exchange, and it's been awesome. To be on the floor, I just can't believe I'm here.
Go pro with the Best Deal of the Year at cnbc.com/Pro Black Friday. Terms and restrictions apply.
Get this. Join the club. It's a great opportunity to learn about the stock market.
So it's really, really given me a lot of insight that I wouldn't have had otherwise.
Join the club with Jim's Best Deal of the Year at cnbc.com/Club Black Friday. Terms and restrictions apply. Smarter by CNBC Make It, an ever-expanding curriculum of career and income-boosting online courses. Get 25% off all 2025 courses now. Go to cnbcmakeit.com/courses. Special offer ends December 5th.
Did you know CancerGuard can screen for multiple cancers?
It's good to know.
It's one simple blood test.
Good to know.
Nearly 70% of cancers diagnosed have had no routine screening. Until now.
Wait, what?
CancerGuard helps detect over 50 cancers, like pancreatic, ovarian, and lung, even before symptoms appear.
That really is good to know.
New CancerGuard from the makers of Cologuard. Knowing means everything.
CEO of real estate development and management company, the LaFrac Organization. And Richard, thank you. It's great to see you.
Thank you for having me. See you both.
That by Warren Buffett, Brick? What the hell is that?
Well, yesterday I noticed that one of you guys brought in that, like
The bourbon.
the hell, he brought in some bourbon.
Yeah.
So I thought I would show and tell what I do, because it's kind of like the anti-AI thing.
Exactly. Bricks and mortar, literally.
Right,
Yeah.
bricks and mortar. But I brought it in for a reason.
It's for you.
No, I don't. I have one from
Warren.
From Warren.
Well, I wasn't here, promoting Warren's Brick Company.
Yeah.
But I brought it in
But he makes it.
to make I'm sure he does. I brought it in to make a point, and the point is about the affordability of housing, which is a huge issue. I think we got a new mayor who kind of rode that pony.
Not just New York. I mean, this is a major issue everywhere.
That one too.
Yeah, but this is a major issue everywhere. Affordability is a key, and people spend most of their disposable income on housing.
Right.
That's the biggest item.
That's not a good thing for the country. It's not a good thing for the families. I brought the brick in because I wanted to make a point with respect to that. That brick does not know where it is. That brick costs the same if I put it on a condo on Billionaires Row, or if I put it in an affordable housing project in the South Bronx. So the cost of construction has just gone, it's been rampant for the last 20 years. And the productivity of the workers has not increased. The wages have gone up, and they should, because these are skilled people, but their productivity has not gone up.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. When you said, because you actually wrote in when we were talking about affordability and what it would take to bring housing prices down, your point was it would have to be lower construction prices.
Well,
forget about everything else.
That's the biggest single component, because the cost, 60% of the cost of a building is the hard cost.
Right.
And that's where you have to really do your best to try to shrink it.
Have those costs gone up dramatically the last 4 or 5 years
Yes.
since the pandemic? Just like inflation has hit everywhere else.
Yes, and also now, tariffs and other things aren't helping either.
Yeah.
So, all of that is compounding. But one thing that hasn't really compounded is the application of technology to building, because we're basically building the buildings the same way we did 50 years ago. It's a lot of hands.
Well, every once in a while you hear somebody who tries to automate in some way. And for single-family homes, sometimes that's prefabrication.
Right, yes, and that works too. That can work. But that's very tough in an environment of a city.
Right.
Obviously, where, you have a lot of regulatory things that stand in your way.
So what can be done to bring down housing prices?
Well, it's kind of right here. It was interesting. I was reading Mayor-elect Mamdani's plan, and there are things that he mentions, using city-owned land, increasing density, kind of get rid of the NIMBY stuff that don't put it in my neighborhood, and try to make the problem is more acute in the bottom half of the income stream, income levels, because that's where people really can't afford it.
Do any of those ideas you think work, potentially?
Yeah, well, I'm kind of an all of the above guy when it comes to that. Some of his ideas are okay, but the big flaw is, if you read his program, or at least in my mind, is he says building by and for New Yorkers, and the by means that he wants the city agencies to do the building. And I would offer the following: if you were going to do a renovation of your kitchen, who is the last person in the world you would go to get it done? The government. So, that's just my opinion. Or to run a supermarket, or to do, things that profit more, usually makes more efficiency.
Yeah.
And more efficient, and as a result, more cost efficient as well.
More cost efficient. But one thing that I'm hopeful with the AI, and I'm a virgin when it comes to understanding most of it, but there's no question that there should be ways to improve the efficiency of the process with AI. Not necessarily change the price of the brick, but the process of construction, the process of getting a set of plans approved, which everybody, permitting, permitting, planning, all those things can be improved by, the digitization of these ideas and then running them through these systems that can act quicker. So time is money, and in this case, that would be very helpful if we were able to reduce the time, compress the time. I mean, there's no reason why a set of drawings can't be done in digital format, gone through an AI process and approved, and commented on or approved. How long does it take for it to go through the computer? I mean, in 5 minutes, 3 minutes? Minutes versus months.
Yeah.
And I'm sure knowing in your own environment, how many friends are doing small jobs in their homes and they can't get out of the building department, they can't get inspections. All these things take time, cost money, and I think that's something that they can work on pretty quickly with the AI stuff.
Richard, President Trump, this administration seems to be looking at the Federal Reserve lowering interest rates as the best way to get at affordability in terms of lowering mortgage rates.
That's going to help. Yeah, it's incrementally helps. But if you think about it now, we were spoiled with a 3% mortgage.
Right. Is a mortgage all that unusual when you're talking 6-7%?
No, I mean, at least if you're as old as I am, 6% sounded pretty good in the 80s.
And I guess the bigger question is if they can bring down mortgage rates just based on lowering interest rates, because the last go around of lower rates,
we had
the
10-year went up,
was higher, and that's what
10-year went up, and the short-term rates went down. But that's lots of complications with the $38 trillion national debt and confidence in the currency, and there's a lot of extraneous issues other than.
Did the president ask your advice on the ballroom?
He did not ask my advice in the ballroom.
Did you offer any? I'm sure it's going to be a great.
Well, I will say this, that I was in the Élysée Palace about a month ago at a conference and we happened to had the opportunity to meet Macron, and we met him in the ballroom of the Élysée Palace, and it's pretty spiffy. It's a lot nicer than the East Wing of the White House. So
the tent, I know the tent where we were sticking people.
It's a lot nicer. So maybe I'm not going to be critical of the president's idea of making something that's appropriate. He didn't ask me, but he might.
Yes.
I hope he does.
No, he didn't ask me. No, I did not. I mean, I support the idea that what he's doing, but whether it's 90,000.
You never know what if you come in here, you willingly do it, you're going to hear it. You never know what
I expect
nothing left.
There'll be something.
Richard, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Richard. Yeah. We'll be right back.
Build storage your way. U.S. General, only at Harbor Freight.
It's a great time to buy, great time for traditions.
It's like loading up a Ford SUV and going to Grandpa's house. Endless loads than a Bill Wild Bronco.
Or making a big delivery with Ford F-Series.
Does it come in red?
You're dating someone? It's a little crazy. And I said a little crazy because we haven't met in person.
Oh, what?
This is the biggest risk I've ever taken.
We've been dating for 7 years. Can't believe this is actually happening.
My biggest fear is we can't get along.
I am not leaving until there is a ring on my finger.
Before the 90 days, Sunday at 8 on TLC.
If you're buying or selling a home, you need a Ramsey trusted real estate agent. They'll help you make smart decisions so your home will be a blessing and not a burden. Get connected for free at RamseySolutions.com/findagents.
If you want paradise for toes in the sand, it doesn't get any better than this without the price. Finding a cheap beach house is actually very possible. Cheap Beach Houses series premiere tonight at 9 on HGTV.
Even a life that's rich with meaning can take an unexpected turn. And life brings you change. We have over 100 years of navigating market ups and downs. To help
Sapphire Labs by the club. Turn flight connections into collaboration. Introducing the business card that gives back all you put in. The new Chase Sapphire Reserved for Business.
Comcast Business Advanced Networking and Security Solutions help turn businesses into seamlessly restocking, frictionless paying, quickly customizing, patient scanning, modern businesses. Comcast Business.
This totally legit influencer loves electric vehicles.
As if.
This IRL test drive will change your mind. Just like that, the influencer has become the influence. Toyota BZ, one drive can change your mind.
Best growth in more than 3 years. Macy's also raised its full-year guidance. JP Morgan releasing its 2026 outlook. The firm expects the S&P to hit 7,500. Who's counting? Lot went on today. We have complex interviews. My head hurts. I guess it's crypto.
We'll be back here tomorrow anyway.
Make sure you join.
Good Wednesday morning. Welcome to Squawk on the Street. I'm Carl Lentz here with Jim Cramer at Post 9 at New York Stock Exchange. Favor has the morning off. Futures holding on to some gains as Bitcoin recovers a bit further. At the same time, though, ADP does come in pretty ugly, down 32K. That's the worst in more than 2 years, as some economists say small business employment may be in recession. Yields are lower across the curve. Our roadmap begins with the mood of the markets as Bitcoin does bounce back about a 2-week high. AI headlines fueling a number of big tech earnings. NVIDIA's Jensen Huang goes to Washington to meet with some lawmakers on the Hill today. And it's a big day for EcoData. We'll get this fresh read on jobs showing the labor market slowdown is, in fact, accelerating. Let's begin, though, with the markets as the major indices, Bitcoin and the tech sector try to build on Tuesday's rebound. Jim, I did see your post this morning. Sell those that are financing or have some insider selling.
Yeah, well, where we are at this point is we're now in 2000. I mean, people don't think we're 2000. They're wrong. It's just that we went 2000 to Japan. And what I want people to do is to recognize there are now 2 kinds of companies. In 2000, the companies took advantage of the fact that their stock went way up, and they did convertible bonds, did shelf offerings, and they absolutely crushed their own stock. This company I ran, which is like, I don't know, it's a poor man's court. They offered, this is just textbook, 39.7 million shares, priced at $41.12, and a convertible bond deal that the people who buy the convertible probably short the common. People might say they can't, but they do.
Right.
And this is exactly the kind of deal that I saw in 2000, and I said, I got it. I couldn't sell my shares in Street.com because I was locked up, but I was able to short till the cows came home. Because you see, when you do these deals like this, what it says is, all right, we got a lot of hope. Hope per share, really a bad ratio. And, I press release, but in the end, I was saying in March 15th of 2000, I was saying it's vapor per share. And I think, was Iran a great company? No.
Yeah.
No.
And that's not a comment on the giants that we talk about all the time.
Well, no. You see, one of the things that's different between 2000 and this is that there are real companies right now doing great things. And you can see Iran had the EBITDA positive. I don't know how the heck they did that because they got the capital expenditures at an incredible high. Enterprise value is very high. But what I'm looking at are companies. I want to contrast Iran versus Marvell. Marvell, Matt Murphy made a call shot. He bought not $1 million, $2 million worth of stock in the open market in the 70s. And I've got to tell you, that's what I'm looking stock. Whamma jamma, short, every single short bought into that. And right now, I'm going tarpon fishing. They have cement mounds. Boom! That's what they did. Boom to the shorts. And when I look at what the shorts are doing today, they're saying, what happened? They're calling their mommies. The old calling their mommy trade.
Really?
Yeah, they used to talk about the Pampers trade. I don't mind it. No, it's the call your mom.
Well, I mean, they're 30% off. There's 30% off the high on Bitcoin. Somebody's made some short money. Yeah.
No, I mean,
you expect them to cover at some point.
No, I just think that what I'm saying is that Sailor, come sail away again. He did it. A lot of people thought it was a Lusitania. A lot of people talk about the Titanic. It turned out to be a battleship Missouri. And I just think that people just don't recognize who they're dealing with. I mean, they came out, they gave a press, they get to see it. Well, actually, the CEO comes out with a really negative thing, so that means you put the short on. This is how it really works, people.
Yeah.
I'm telling you how it really works.
Mizuho, by the way, Mizuho reiterates outperformed 484 after talking to the CFO, Andrew Tang.
Well, there you go. Almost everybody, like we have all the uranium people come out today. I've been doing a lot of work in uranium, okay? There's a company that Honeywell has that does uranium processing. I'm willing to say right now that there may be no plants built within the time not of our lifetime, because you don't know who's out there who's 24 gambling on a Polymarket or a Kalshi. But 2032 is when you might see a small nuclear reactor working, and it will be not one of these companies that we call it. It'll be GE Vernova, because that's what they actually do.
Yeah.
And they were stuck making them the last time. But we got to get out of this idea that uranium equals flying cars, equals batteries that never run out, equals companies that have one plant that they're going to make for Microsoft. This is where people will be hurt. Now, this is not a press release that was issued by AI, what I am saying. You can even go to the wonders and greatest of Gemini, and they will not tell you what I'm saying. But I am saying that this is 2000. I lived through it, and Gemini didn't.
You're not arguing that we're going to see an enormous decline in the overall indices.
No, I think we're going to see a decline of some significance in the companies that have no earnings. And what I called and what ended with the year
investing.
That's over. Now it's playing as it lays. Now we're slouching towards losses.
We'll couple that, Jim, with some, I would argue, reassuring notes, for instance, on Oracle, as Wells initiates with an outperform.
That surprised me about Wells.
Yes. Although at the same time, we're looking at the CDS, again, highest since 09. It's more than tripled since June.
Yeah, I thought that Wells was poorly timed. I like Charlie Sharp. Of course, he didn't do it. He's the CEO. Right. But at the same time, we have okay, so we have Dollar Tree, and we have this AEO, all right? Now, the word on the street is that the consumer is weak. And we have this ADP number that shows the consumer's weak. Okay, so the consumer who shops at Burlington, and I've shopped there, much to my wife's chagrin, is not doing well. But literally everybody else is Dollar Tree. Now, Dollar Tree is converting a lot of stores to featured pricing, which means they have things that are far more than $1. We know Five Below, which is not a REI operation for cold weather in Everest, but is actually a company that sells a lot of stuff that they buy for 30 cents for $5. Good for them. But these companies are on fire. Carl, I got to tell you, if Burlington's doing poorly and everyone else is doing, look, I got Ralph Lauren note today. The consumer, when they have a job, spending. If they don't have a job, they're in trouble. Or if they haven't had wage increases, they're in trouble. But I struggle to see how much American. Do you know what it takes to have American Eagle Outfitters to actually do well? I mean, that is get me Kalshi.
Yeah, we'll throw in Macy's there with a surprise profit. Strongest quarter in 13.
Oh my God, this is running all that time. I didn't pause it. Well, I got away with murder there. Boy, did I miss that. I could just teach myself to stay and watch this for a while.
Which is really
do so much better.
By the way, Air is +11 on American Eagle.
Yeah, Street was looking for 3.
Yeah, so I look at Macy's, and yes, it's coming down. And yes, you have to buy it, because he's fundamentally doing this reimagined 125 stores, and they're doing terrific. Remember, he's from Bloomie's. He has a reputation for being exact, having the right merchandise, and beautiful ones restores, and he is continuing that. How he's doing great. The stock will come down. Not unlike CrowdStrike, if you want to relate to what else will come down. It's one. But in both cases, you have to buy. CrowdStrike 1 month from now will be up substantially from where it is. Macy's, I think, is just going to plug away.
We have had a bunch of consumer names present
Wow.
this week at these conferences. Yesterday, Jim, it was the CFO.
That made my day. 590 in that trade, 125 in that trade.
Here in the States, quote, probably the most volatile we've seen in a long time.
Okay. Well,
yesterday.
And we loaded the boat up for the club.
You did.
Oh, God.
Stop.
Yes. Proctor,
I think anytime
boy, did you ever catch the bottom of that move? Too bad, too bad, too bad, too bad. You weren't up here. Good Lord.
But anytime that there's a
You
period
made
of time
$1,000 right there.
artificial things happening
$5,000 or $6,000.
pressing prices up.
Pay attention. Look what you just did.
For us, the challenge is how do we make it possible for them to access these technologies in a way that also recognizes and understands where they are. And then I think what is more profound for a company is to make available those expertise to the communities. Sometimes it's more valuable than cash. I chose this profession because I want to really make meaningful contribution to society and to be able to do
Come on, I'm not asking for much.
company, our leadership, our employees, our business partners. For that, I'm completely
Unreal. All I wanted to do is pick up $100. A minute to go. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. 30 seconds. No, I'm going to get a stop in here. I can't afford the risk. I know I'm going to probably get killed on it, but
Let's squeeze in a mad dash before the bell here in about a minute, Jim.
don't take the risk.
All-time high as soon as Apple, multiple expanding, but also earnings going up. IDC, I really respect them. In China, Apple's largest market, massive demand for iPhone 17 has been significantly accelerated.
You lost money on that one.
For IDC's China monthly sales. I mean, this thing is a juggernaut. We're talking about 6% growth year over year.
Would you lose a couple $100? 145.
People who were saying this was going to be a bad cycle, and why? Because they know what's coming.
Well,
They're broken record sales due to the 17 and 26, and obviously record highs going into yesterday.
Write them a check.
Let's get the opening call from CNBC's Real-Time Exchange.
don't chase that.
It's Franklin Templeton highlighting the expansion of its actively bond ETF suite
I've got
at the NASDAQ water infrastructure company Deep Blue. And Jim, we'll see if this little scare pre-market holds into the session.
Yeah, look, we went down not just on Microsoft. Microsoft's powerful, but not that powerful. And by the way, it's zero sum.
Oh, you bugger.
We know Amazon Web Services. I got that yet.
Churus.
We know Gemline's doing amazing, but maybe it's the suite of products that Microsoft's selling. It doesn't have any traction because this isn't time to be, as Marvell would tell you, the growth of the data center, the growth of demand is extraordinary. And just to give people what people are saying about Marvell, Alp a couple years ago earned $5. The average multiple on semiconductors is 30. This stock is going to 150 if you believe that. So on the one hand, you have some negative stories floating about Microsoft.
Yep.
On the other hand, they're the only ones. I mean, I don't get it. Look, they're public. I mean, OpenAI, I continue to
Take
say
me out, I don't care.
is something we have to watch because they need.
Oh, God, you lucked out. 32.70.
Neil Ferguson, the
What
best,
did you just make on that trade?
historian about war ever,
1640 plus 8 made $2,500 bucks.
Market that's the deepest wins.
Okay,
I
stop.
think the companies that have the dog market that's the deepest are going to win. And OpenAI is
Stop.
not one, which is why I kind of
32.70 today.
piece
Woo.
about Oracle, Quizco, underprinted Quizco.
Oh God,
So they're
that was
definitely,
scary.
it's an interesting issue,
32.70.
but they're coming to the conversation relatively late.
Right.